And of course, we do thank you so much for joining us live. We are right here in Harare. We are catching up with Makomborero Haruzivishe, who has just been released from prison after spending almost 9 months of incarceration under some charges that he has been facing, many of them. But today, finally, he has just managed to see freedom. Makomborero, thank you so much for having and joining us live with us here.
Yeah.
You are back now to outside incarceration. 9 months it has been.
To be specific, it's 10 months, 22 days.
10 months, 22 days.
Yeah.
How has been this period?
For me, I understood in my deeper psychology, I understood that I'm not a criminal. I'm a political prisoner. So that time, I understood that I should take it for political reflections. It gave me ample time to really evaluate where, since I became a pro-democracy and human rights activist, it gave me time to really reflect on where I started, the route I've taken, and to where I'm going. And I discovered that no, I'm not wrong. Actually, if I was wrong, maybe it was being less radical. Because issues of citizens' inclusion in governance, citizens' participation in government, it's actually the government's duty to ensure that all citizens participate in governance issues. But if you see a government putting blockers of the intimidation, blockers of arrest, blockers of abuse of law, the rule by law, to deter citizens from actively participating in governance issues, it means that something is wrong. So, yeah, apart from reflections, it also gave me ample time to read. I read a lot of books. I had all the time in the world. I had no appointments to do. I had no assignments to fulfill. I had no, I was just in one place. And so, most of my time, and what I made sure prison is for me, I made sure that it's just a place maybe where I'm being kept while I await my date of release. Be it maybe today or maybe tomorrow. You still have the hope and
faith you're going to come out?
Yes, of course I was going to come out. There was no way I was going to stay there forever. Because after all, even if it was to be 10 years, I was going to get out. Okay. And even if I was to stay forever, if I were to die in there, there was no way they were going to bury me in there. They were going to bury me outside. So one way or another, I was going to get outside. So yeah. So my feeling towards prison is it helped me to really make positive reflections in as far as strengthening, my ideology, my thoughts, my ideals, and my resolve for a democratic and inclusive Zimbabwe, where all citizens' issues and concerns are yet not addressed.
Sorry, Mako. Let's just speak about charges that were leveled against you. I know there were many. Some of them you had already been given a bail before. But in a nutshell, what were the actual charges that they were leveling against you?
The actual charges, the first one, which I was convicted and since appealed, it was inciting public violence and committing public violence. So there were like 2 charges. The second one was participating in a public gathering. The third one was kidnapping. The fourth one was participating in a public gathering. So you will find these charges. They were malicious and highly politically motivated. I will take you to the first ones of inciting public violence and participating in public violence. It was a case where the state alleged that I incited people to revolt and resist the police who were in an operation to arrest, informal traders. And they claimed that I whistled and signaled people to throw stones and stuff. But when the evidence, not even a single stone was brought to court as evidence, not even a single scratch on police vehicles, not even a single scratch on a single police officer. We claim to have been stoned. And in this charge, I was the only accused. I had no co-accused. I had no, there were no others who were still at large. You understand? So it was fun, and I asked those questions in court. And funny enough, the magistrate went and convicted me. And I went to file an appeal. And when we requested...
Which magistrate convicted you on
it
this
was
one?
Judith Saruinga.
Okay.
In court 2. So when we filed the papers for appeal and we were supposed to file words of appeal, we requested for the record from the lower court, because when we do appeals, we do it at the high court. And you know what she did? She purposefully and intentionally deleted passages and paragraphs in which, you know, with the evidence I gave in my defense, would enable me to successfully appeal. You understand? So it shows that she was acting on instructions. It shows that she was acting maliciously. It showed that the courts are politically influenced. It showed that the justice is captured in Zimbabwe.
How then does that make you feel? You are appealing to also another court system, and it is clear that a certain court system is being alleged to have been aligned to the system. How did this affect or work on your confidence? Because you are now appealing to another court system. How did you work around such an issue?
The issue now, my brother, is we are in a dictatorship, and dictatorship is backed by military state capture. And I am one who is of in a ideology that you know, I can't afford to beg for my rights in the cause of the oppressor, beg for my freedom in the cause of the oppressor. But nevertheless, these are the only avenues. And the reasons why I even apply bail, the reasons why I even appeal, is to expose to the people, because most people believe that since we got independence from colonialism, from white supremacy in 1980, they believe that I have been fair and fine. So these are some of the things why I go on to appeal in this cause of the oppressor, why I go on to even apply for bail. Most of the time is to expose them. So, because if people see that such and such has happened, it will be easy to expose the injustice, to expose the capture. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I myself, I don't believe in those courts. And, if they were lucky, they had me in custody. That's how they managed to even convict me. I don't believe in those courts. I don't believe in capture justice. And they are self-proven. Of course, there are other magistrates and judges who discharge their duties without, you know, the undue influence or prejudice, who do not prejudice the citizens. But there are some, especially on political cases, who clearly act as commissars of the ruling party. And that I can say unapologetically, and yeah, that's the reality we're living in. I'm just a mirror of what is happening. I'm just mirroring what is.
And it took you 10 months. Is this normal? Under normal cases, I know you've been working with various lawyers. How long should a normal appeal have taken?
What made me stay for 10 months, per se, wasn't the appeal. The appeal, it took 3 months. Post judgment was reserved for the opening appeal. But what took more time for me were the trials. A trial, like especially my cases. Some of the cases, just 2 straight days, it will be over. But they took 10 months, 22 days. It's you know, whatever was happening in the courts, if you are to see in the records and to hear what is happening, you can see that it's proof of justice being delayed, that's justice being denied. They knew that once we do the trials, they have absolutely no evidence against me. They had no evidence against me. So if they fast forward the trials, they knew that I would be free man early.
Okay.
So they wanted to keep me inside. So that's the long and short of it. Yeah.
Right. So I just need to understand this issue. 10 months down the line, now you are out. On what conditions are you out? I understand the cases are still pending before the court. This is just a bail pending appearance, if I'm correct.
I have 3 cases still at trial stage. 3 cases. The first one, my next court date is on the 11th of this month, January 2022. The second one is on the 13th. The third one is on the 18th. Then the fourth one is that appeal case. We have not yet done the actual appeal. So yeah, it's saying the balance. So I can say there are 4 active cases. And yeah. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of going back to jail because I'm not a criminal. I was a person of conscience. And what I've just done today was to come out of a smaller prison to a bigger prison, where people move around thinking they are free because the chains are not visible, but mental chains are there, and they are felt.
And how did you feel? The 10 months, almost a
actually, in terms of the 10 months, 20 days, in terms of the prison calendar, it's 1 year, 3 months.
Okay.
So how I felt honored to be, paying the price of freedom for my fellow countrymen. Yeah, I was paying the price of freedom. So even if I were to die in there, it was left up for my fellow countrymen to go and claim the freedom because I have joined the long list of other honorable citizens. You can speak, most of them have paid the ultimate price. You can speak of my brothers, Tai and Patson Zamara. You can speak of, from Tundra Indira and Peter Chokurama, Godfrey Kausani, Peter Batana Yatis, the student struggles, Lamek Chemfura. And these are just but a few names, and I can take hours to name the names, but thousands of people have died since Zimbabweans united in the 1990s, late 1990s, early 2000s, to say no, corruption is bad, to say no, dictatorship is bad, to say no, abuse of law is bad, rule by law is bad. When they stood up in demand for a better Zimbabwe, in demand to have their voice matter, in the way Zimbabwe is governed. So it's a long list, and I was just paying my humble, price. And yeah.
Do you feel broken in your spirit as far as the struggle is concerned?
My guy, I'm not broken. In prison, I found more reasons to fight. In prison, I think I got a mental, spiritual, and physical booster to really face the dictatorship head-on, because we have no option. What we just want are better lives. What we just want is the Zimbabwe that functions for everyone. What we just want is a Zimbabwe where all citizens' issues and contents are held and addressed. What we want is a Zimbabwe where every child gets an opportunity to quality education, and every adult gets a meaningful employment with a living wage. That's what we want. We are not interested in politics that much. No. We just want better lives. But if politics is now affecting our lives, it's now compromising our lives, now sabotaging our happiness, then definitely we have to participate in it to change the way things are done and change them for the better.
How were you treated in the prison? I know you are in Class D, that one that is meant for hardcore criminals, armed robbers and murderers. How was your treatment during the time of incarceration?
Number one, my guy, I'm an alpha comrade. I established my territory. Yeah, that's number one thing. And of course, during the first days, there were some overzealous people and elements, and especially amongst the officers. But to issues that I managed to show them that no, I'm a different type of person. I'm not an ordinary criminal. I'm a freedom fighter. And before long, they knew how to treat me. But no, so I'm treating different.
So you were not abused by
abuse came in various forms. But I fought back viciously. I defended myself, and it's not yet state to defend myself. And up until such a time when they knew and realized that
it's a different character.
But of course, there are other things like systematic problems. Those ones you can't resist because it's systematic. They are already happening.
Yeah.
You can't really face them.
They're not selectively targeted to you as an individual.
And those ones,
We hear stories of people who get into prisons, and some of them allege, or we were told that they've been injected by various poison that will kill them later on. Were you under such threat as far as you were in the prison cells?
The good thing is, in the D-class section where I was, fellow prisoners understood that I was not a criminal, that I was a freedom fighter. And I took time to explain to them, because I would ask them basic questions. But when you were in grade 1, when the teacher asked you what you want to do when you grow up, how did you do? Some will say, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a doctor, a pilot, whatever. But they're in prison. And that's my assessment of Zimbabwean prisons nowadays. They are cemeteries of dreams, graveyards of aspirations. Why? Because most of the poor are committing crimes purely are motivated, by poverty. They are crimes of the economy. Most of them, they are crimes of the economy. And if they had jobs, if industries were working, if they were gainfully employed, comrade, I can tell you that most of the people will not be committing crimes. But it's a matter of they have rent to pay, they are in default months long. Children want to go to school, they are in default of school fees. They can't even buy food, a meal for the day. Yeah, then they turn to criminality. Because most of those, if the economy is boosted, if the economy functions a little better, I can tell you the crimes in Zimbabwe will drop sharply.
But just going back to your health, were you affected health-wise? Was there any threat of your life during the time of your incarceration?
Yeah, there are various, incidences. And some of them, it was a guy who appeared like he was a madman, attacked me, but then successfully managed to defend myself and fend off the attack.
Did he have anything in his hands?
It was bare hands, but it was a kind of, but I couldn't see it was at night.
Okay.
Of course there are lights, but poorly lit. The cells are poorly lit. Maybe 2 bulbs, so where around maybe 90 to 100 people are sleeping. They are crammed. But what he tried to do, I don't really understand what was his intention, but he was behaving like a madman. But however, it was a physical issue which I resolved physically. Number one. Then number two, I made friends and comrades, and we defended each other physically. We defended each other mentally. We helped each other, even in terms of when health-wise, if someone gets ill. Yeah, and when I was convicted, when I was at the other prison, I had a serious fever. I used to have serious fevers, and each skin member was reacting to the prison conditions. But however, the other people managed to, other comrades, other prisoners.
Issues of food, water, sanitation, were you getting any help from the outside community specifically? How were you surviving?
Yeah, in terms of water and food, I survived 100% from friends and family. Friends and family. Because prison food may die. For me, it's inedible. And if you go at any particular moment, people have running stomachs, reacting to the food.
So you never got to test the food?
I attempted once or twice, but I would rather fast for that day when I know that I didn't have food from outside. Okay. And even water, I made sure, I made the point that I would bring in 5 liters of purified water for my health. Because check, it's not the problem of the Zimbabwe prison services themselves. The Zimbabwe prison correctional services. It's the problem of the government. They are a reflection of the status quo. For example, the courts are not functioning well. They are processing people's cases slowly. At Raraman prison right now, there are over 720 prisoners in the D-class section, where the maximum number should just be 300. So imagine the prison facilities, sewage always placed inside, so it's flowing freely. right now there's a shortage of water, and people then can't even wash their hands.
Did you have people die?
In prison?
Yes. Especially your cell, the D block that where you were.
In the D class section?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen people die. Yeah. People died. Especially before I crossed to the other side. Before I was convicted. Yeah, a couple of people died, and yeah, it's
What was the cause of the death?
My guy, people get sick due to various reasons. Diagnostic systems are severely compromised, and people just wake up dead. People get seriously ill and they die.
But just in the interest of time, one of the major reasons why you were thrown behind the cells, it was obviously a politically motivated case that you had.
They thought
was
they can
to make sure that
me.
they intimidate you and silence people like you. And now you are out. What should we expect from you, and what is your next way forward going on?
My guy, as long as the Zimbabwean Constitution guarantees us the right and freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom and right to petition and demonstrate, then guaranteed that more organizing is on the way. We get assured that the struggle continues unabated. We get assured that I was strengthened by prison. I'm more emboldened. The conditions under which I survived, the COVID and everything, then no prison can kill me or ever bring me down. The conditions in which I survived, no prison can ever bring me down again. And if I manage to survive under such conditions, what more of in the outside world? And I'll survive, and I'll survive, and I'll fight some more, and organize some more. And I'll encourage all those who have chosen not to back down in the face of dictatorship. That, comrades, I came out alive, I'm very fit. And yeah, I mean,
Saluta continua.
Continue. We're in charge.
Yeah, so that is Makomborero Haruzivishe there, who has been incarcerated for 10 months and 22 days. We've just been kept catching up with him. Today he was released and is out testing freedom for the first time after almost 11 months. It's a full year as far as the prison calendar is concerned. We are going to be catching up with more developments as far as this case is concerned. But for now, in the crew behind the scenes, it's a wrap. My name is Tonio. We'll do this each and every time when we've got these news breaking. Ciao, ciao.